Action.
I don't think. Babe, you're not. No, that's why
You're not supposed to say action after you count down?
No.
Gosh. I'm not in Hollywood. I don't know how this works.
Hollywood?
Yeah, this is radio.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Because everyone's listening to us on the radio right now.
Well, you get what I'm saying. So I feel like this episode.
Wait, we can't not acknowledge the fact that we haven't done an episode in like 2 months.
You know, we did that last time.
It's really hard. Like at first, when we first set out to do this, we were like, we're going to do this. I actually, when I was setting this up on Spotify or Apple and whatever, they said, what is your frequency of episode delivery? And I put weekly.
Yikes. That's like
I should have put quarterly.
No, that's like me 5 years ago when I said I was going to like go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. And it never happened.
Babe, you do.
Yeah, before I didn't, but now I do. So hopefully this gets us in a groove. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So we are here today talking about our fertility journey.
Yeah, like just a
sliver of the pie here, because there's so much that goes into this. If you are a gay couple, a lesbian couple, a
straight couple who can't get pregnant.
Exactly. Any kind of couple that's having difficulty getting pregnant in general.
Or you're just thinking about what would that look like one day for me and my partner.
Or if you're single and you want to have a baby, whatever the journey is for you, right?
It's all of the Friends dynamic. I always talk about this. In Friends, we have the single mom.
Gosh.
We have the surrogate. We have the adopted parents. We have, it's just all the different levels of parenthood.
So our story, of course, we are 2 women, and we have been planning to start our family since back in January 2021.
Yeah. I mean, actually doing the planning, obviously, like we've been, thinking about it. Like, I feel like planning starts when you start talking about it, right? And you're just like, what would that look like one day? And to just like sit down and start to research it, it's just like one of those like, where do you start type
It's
things.
a part-time job.
We like started really researching it and like figuring out what to do. Hit the ground running January 2021.
Maybe even a month or 2 before that, because I had to figure out who to even talk to. So I sent a message to my OBGYN and said, where do we go from here? What does that look like? And she actually referred us to the reproductive clinic associated with my OB, because they don't do anything that we need them to do at a regular OB. Okay. Yeah. So that was step number 1, because we didn't even know where to start. And I think we had our first appointment in January, and it was a virtual appointment, just talking about what this looks like and what to anticipate. It was a little overwhelming, to be honest.
A little?
Yeah. I mean,
it was, yeah.
There's a lot of planning that goes into it. So what we were told was they would like to start with getting labs from both of us, because Bethany and I's plan eventually is for each of us to carry a baby. Right? Or
a baby.
A babies. One babies. Unlike some other people who think I should have 2 or 3 at the same time.
Or we both are pregnant at the same time as well.
Do you know how many times people say that? Ask that?
Literally, I'm pretty sure 90% of the people we say, oh, you guys are trying? Are you going to do it at the same time?
So my follow-up question to those people is, so who's going to take care of both of us? Are you moving into our house and taking care of both of us as we're both sick and both?
You know what it might be, though?
Imagine if we went to labor on the same day.
Yeah, we're just like holding hands. So we're bouncing on balls next to each other, trying to go the same rhythm, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
It would be like a good practice for like when we both hit menopause at the same time one day.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's reel it in here. That's a long way away. So let's just go back to what we what we had to do first steps. First steps was getting our blood work drawn and checking levels to make sure that we could just baseline do this. And we both got the green light, like everything looks good. And then we were tasked with the job of picking a sperm bank, right?
There's so many.
And it's
remember when we did the webinar?
Yeah.
Oh
yes, we did a webinar, because everything's virtual now, just to learn more. And it was specifically for LGBTQIA plus people, right?
Yeah.
That's what they directed their audience toward. And that was through Seattle Sperm Bank who did that, I believe.
I think so.
I think it was Seattle.
Or cryo. Either way, it was just
there's
like,
a lot of
them. So we really went hard into the research, and there was pretty much top 3, or there was like a list of maybe the top 5 that our OBGYN recommended.
Mm-hmm.
And then we narrowed it down to like the top 3, and we really started to look at sperm donors through all of those. And I think it really came down to, there was pricing, there was reviews on successful pregnancies, there was, what were some other things that we were looking into?
Just like
cost,
of course. So pricing going along with not only purchasing the vials, but definitely thinking about storing them, thinking about shipping them, right? Because there are local sperm banks. We live in Connecticut, but we weren't looking at the local ones from the list that was given to us just because of reviews, and there's so many factors that go into it. So we ended up at Seattle.
And if we did it through Connecticut, we'd probably walk.
Yeah.
It could be our neighbor.
That's the whole idea. Oh my gosh. So that's the whole idea. We're like, which state is one of the furthest away from us? But so we ended up with Seattle Sperm Bank for a few different reasons. And one of the main ones was cost.
And the information that they gave us,
and the
right?
information. They were just so forthcoming with their information. When you looked at all of the data in terms of their sperm count per vial, which is something that we will talk about because it's so important, they were significantly higher than other sperm banks. So we ended up with Seattle Sperm Bank, and through that, I mean, then you pick your sperm bank, and then it's like you pick your
donor, and
you
it's
have
so
to pick
weird.
your
It's
donor.
almost like I don't even know, online dating, but they're baby pictures, and you're looking at all of like the qualities of them, right? Their hair color, their eye color, then you get into it, like, but what are their hobbies? And now, right, what are their hobbies? What did they go to school for? What's their current career? And then it gets all into the history, family history, their genetics, so freaking much. And if they do or do not want to be anonymous, right,
that's a big piece of it too.
So you have to figure out as a couple, do you want, at one point when your child turns 18, do you want them to have the opportunity to reach out to the donor just to ask questions or anything like that? And they'll mark, you can filter it. It's kind of like searching for a car. You can filter all these different things. We want them to be open to communication, and we don't want them to have cancer in their background and things like that. So it was actually kind of fun doing that with you, because we would, scroll through like, oh, that was cute. Look, that one has red hair. Oh my God, we need it.
Yes. Bethany's hell-bent on a red-headed baby with blue eyes, which is the rarest combination in the entire world. So not only are we trying to make a baby with 2 women and someone's sperm that we don't know, we're going for the least popular human in the world. That's okay. If anyone can do it, it's us. So
well, I don't care what they look like as long as they're healthy, and obviously,
Exactly.
But I always say I want redheaded babies running around my house.
Yeah. She doesn't know what she's asking for when she says that.
I do. I'm married to one.
I know, honey. You're sweet. So
Wait, before we move on from that, I want to dive more into that process of choosing one. So we chose, like, we would write down a few. Oh my God, that one's cute. I like that background. I like what they do, whatever. And then we would, on the count of 3, rate them from a scale of 1 to 10.
That's right.
So we'd be like, okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 6.
10.
Oh,
I don't think I gave anyone a 10 actually, but yeah. So the ones, you're scoring them just in your mind, like, personally, what would you look for? And then obviously as a couple, like, what are we looking for? So it was very interesting, but we did land on a donor, and he actually had, I believe, 2 genetic anomalies that we had to consider.
That's a whole nother can of worms right there. It's freaking that part.
Yeah.
So do you want to explain? But first, his name was Red. So we thought he was perfect. His name was Red.
Perfect.
He had
a very, might I say, cool 1990 like button up. Oh my gosh, it looked like, the background of Saved by the Bell.
Yes.
So it looked like the Saved by the Bell background with this short sleeve button up shirt on, spiky red hair, like in his, I don't know, first grade picture.
Yeah.
And it was a dream.
And your dad's nickname for you is Red.
Yes.
So it was just like, this is going to be our donor.
Showstopper. Yeah. So we were super excited, and,
we were hell bent on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And no family history of cancer. And they give you not only of course, the donor's history, but his parents and both maternal and paternal grandparents, siblings, everybody. So you can look at everything. I mean, even down to it, like, do they wear eyeglasses? Are they left-handed? Like, everything. And so he had 2 genetic issues identified. And I was like, 2, that's not a problem.
Out of what, 550 or something?
There were so many that they test them for. That's another great thing about Seattle, is they test for so many different things. And so I'm like, we're good. We don't need to test.
Yeah, you were like, we don't need to test. It's gonna, from what I understand, like, if you Google something, be better Google. You Google it and it says, like, how much is genetic testing? And they're like, anywhere from $1,000, like $500 to like $8,000 or something.
Yeah, like, that's a big range, Google.
But to break that down for you, if I or Ashlee had the same genetic anomaly as our donor, so the chances of our baby having that genetic anomaly and it really affecting their life, and this one in particular that he had was something that would be like debilitating to our child. Yeah. And so there's a higher chance that the baby would have it. If one person has it, one person doesn't, then there's no chance.
Correct.
So, you're like, what are the chances? And I'm like, well, it's not a chance I'm willing to take, to be honest with you. My gut, I follow my gut, and my gut was just like, just do it. Just do it. I mean, we're spending all this money anyways. And here's the freaking kicker about genetic testing, which is so, I don't understand it, is you go and get your labs done, you submit it, whatever that process looks like. You get an email that it's done, and then they say, if you'd like to review your results, then you can, and we'll let you know after you accept how much it's going to cost.
Exactly. So with
Do you
that
understand
range,
what I just said? Because that makes no. It's like, here, do you want to buy this car that could potentially either be like $8,000 or it could be $52,000, but you won't know until you sign the dotted line.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sorry.
And I am not a gambling person. And so for the fact that he had only 2 issues identified, and we were potentially going to pay thousands of dollars to figure out if both of us have the same thing, I was like freaking out that this is going to be another huge added cost to this whole process. But happy wife, happy life. We went with what Bethany's gut said. And lo and behold,
she was right. We were on the airplane coming back from somewhere.
We were at a layover.
And you were like, oh, I got the email.
Our genetic testing is in.
And at that point, you can figure out if you got something weird in you, right? Like that's like, it's
no
scary
pressure,
to get
no pressure.
genetic testing done. And they have like counseling available for it. Like if you receive results that are scary.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this girl over here, the Reds together, had the
two Reds. We had the same issue.
Anomaly.
And if I could pronounce it for you, I totally would. However, the important piece is that we both had the gene. And therefore, if, I had a child with this donor, there was a 1 in 4 chance or a 25% chance that the baby would have come out with significant neurological deficits, blindness, of course, inability to walk.
It's making me nauseous thinking about it.
Deaf. Yeah. And they said rarely lives, I think, beyond the age of 8 years old. And so we were like, oh my goodness.
I was like, thank you, gut. Thank you, universe.
Yes. So we were very sad to let Red and his Saved by the Bell shirt go, to be honest with you. I was so sad. He's adorable. But we couldn't take that chance. So unfortunately had to go all the way back to the drawing board, go back to, what you just called online dating, if you will. And which is, as you can imagine, completely overwhelming. It was overwhelming for us the first time. And now we had to do it again.
Now we have to plug in these genetic anomalies that you have. Again, you can filter out. So now you're filtering out another.
But that was an added, like, if you do genetic testing, then you can just put it in the search bar to exclude those donors. Yeah, so that was actually really helpful for us. And the cost for both of us based on our insurance did not break the bank. So it was nothing astronomical at all.
Yeah, we need to talk about this. So we get this back and we get the bill and she's like, she looks at it and she goes, mine's $70. And I was like, mine's $230, you asshole.
Yeah. Well, in comparison to, $8,000.
Oh my gosh. It was like, I couldn't even believe it. You just started laughing. It was $70.
I was like, should we get it again to be sure at that point?
Let's do it once a month.
No, absolutely not. So anyways, we had our answer for that. So we could go back to, to the website and start over, essentially. And that's what we did. And we actually made our decision for our donor that we purchased sperm for in May of 2021. So, we started this journey back in January, sort of with the back and forth with the lab work, with the genetic testing, with the donor we initially had, and now landing on our actual donor, of course, months had already gone by, but we were so excited. And actually one of the cool things too about the website was we could actually hear his voice.
His adult voice, yeah.
Yeah. So he, they ask all of the donors to talk about why they wanted to donate. And I think that piece was important to us too. There's some people who do it because they're trying to pay for college or whatever. But
yeah, and those ones have like 600 vials of sperm, whereas like the other one, because they go back on a weekly basis.
And then they can do it as many times as they want, I guess. I don't know what that looks like from a male perspective and donating sperm, to be honest. But he, his voice and his reasoning resonated with us. Of course, in addition to his entire history, no cancer in his history.
Big one for us, obviously.
Huge one. That's why we keep talking about it. But and he was super smart too. And just this one, his school picture too, I remember showing his school picture to my best friend Julie. she goes, wow, it really looks like he practiced his smile with his mom before he went to school that day.
Oh, I didn't know.
You didn't know that story? So I was like, OMG, you're so right.
Oh my God.
He just looked like a sweet, sweet boy. And we were sold on him for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we each gave him a 9 out of 10 or something like that.
Yeah, we definitely, we said the same number on him for sure. And we put like hearts next to him and stuff like that. It was cute. But that's exciting. And then from there, it's like, okay, we did it. Like, that's a huge milestone to go from, hi, can we talk about what to do next? And then actually choosing the donor. Because then shit gets real. Then it's like, okay, now we need to ship it to us. And
now we need to whip out the credit card.
Oh yeah. So there's
buckle up for this.
So there's
It's a lot.
Oh my God. Washed, unwashed. What does that mean? Right? They have this many washed, this many unwashed. I don't understand what that means. Googling that, asking our doctor before doing that. And then it's like, okay, now how many? Right? So here's the thing with that too. It's like, okay, well, they have 30 vials. Okay, well, if we only buy 6 and then somebody else buys, like, how many other siblings are there going to be out there? That's a lot, right? A part of us is like, I just want them all. So, you know, it's going to be the only one. And that's expensive. I mean, to put it into perspective, we ended up settling on getting 8. So 4 for Ashlee, 4 for myself. Ideally, that was what we were shooting for. And that came out to be what? 6?
No, it was about $8,000.
$8,000. So $1,000 a vial. And so you couldn't just buy all 30, but yeah. So, and then from that, it's like, oh, if you buy more than 6, then you get free storage for a year or something with
I
them.
actually think it's less than 6. I think they even said more, if you just buy 2 vials, you get free storage for a year, which is huge. It's important because it's frozen sperm. And so they have to keep it, you know, in their lab. And when we would be ready to ship it, they would ship it to Massachusetts for us. But here's the kicker, right? It doesn't matter if you ship 1 or all 8 vials. It's the same price every time you ship it.
And that's like $100-something per shipping. You're
lowballing everything.
Am I?
$250 to ship it.
Oh,
so think about shipping 8 vials separately. That's $2,000.
Yeah. And you asked one of your friends who went through this, and she said, like, the one thing I wish we did was just ship them all at the same time rather than doing it one off. So we ended up doing that, which I'm happy we did. And now it's just so and now we pay storage fee, right? So we get a bill every month for sperm storage. A couple of lesbians.
It's not like we're storing a couch. We're just storing sperm down the street in the lab. No, honestly, you know, like,
it's the smallest little storage bin.
But like, what are those things called, right? Like,
it's liquid gold. That's what we're storing.
No. Well, yes,
yeah,
but
they're storage units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except we're storing a vial of sperm, which let me also put this into perspective for you. It is 0.5 milliliters of sperm. So
we're talking like let's the tip of a like or maybe like a pencil eraser. I'm trying to get like,
yeah, actually that's a really good. So it's the size of a pencil eraser, typical pencil eraser, well, maybe a mechanical one too.
No mechanicals, like we're going back to middle school, the ones that you have to like sharpen on the side of the wall, the ones that you have to use for your SATs.
Yeah.
Right.
And also for people who are not using pencils, I guess, if you look at a medicine cup, ready? Like a regular medicine
like you're taking
cup,
Robitussin.
that is 30 mLs, and I'm talking 0.5 mLs.
That was a way better way of explaining that than my pencil eraser.
Well, you know, I've thought about it.
Some people will resonate more with my pencil eraser.
All right. Well, we'll take a vote later. Pencil eraser or...
I'm more of a swig it out of the bottle, so I don't really
Robitussin.
know how much...
you know what? You would be.
Cups.
You're not medicating our children then.
Okay.
Anyways. So 0.5. And the other important piece of the sperm purchasing aspect, I guess, is the washed or unwashed, like you just mentioned. So
what a weird, it's fucking sperm, and we're how
are we're gonna have to, like, are there books to explain this to your baby, like, about the sperm?
Okay, honey, you were an unwashed sperm.
No, they were washed.
Oh, see,
oh my gosh.
I know.
So
you have a memory. You have a sponge of a brain.
No. Let's
reel it back.
Come on, Buffy. So, washed sperm,
yes,
is only the sperm. There's no extra contents in the vial.
Like the gooey stuff?
There's no gooey stuff. Oh my gosh. I hope my mom listens to this.
Lord help us.
So there's no gooey stuff. It's only washed sperm. Okay. And that's a great thing. That is what you want if you are going to do what they call an IUI, or an intrauterine insemination, which we will totally get into. But starting with an IUI, you have to consider there's a lot. All of this has to do with timing, right? So if you don't have good timing for this, in terms of peeing on ovulation predictor kits and seeing when you're actually ready to conceive, the rest of it doesn't mean anything. Okay. So one of the pieces that they actually had me do before trying our first IUI is to practice a few months before.
It's like learning your body.
Totally.
You've never had to do it. You are
never,
as we've mentioned before,
gold star
lesbian. Never had to know, oh, I've been taking birth control, or oh, I'm ovulating, so I can't have sex with a man right now. No, I mean, nor have I, but right. You're literally like for the first time really learning the way that your body works like that.
Well, and I think part of the puzzle piece for me is because that, you know, made me really hopeful in the beginning of this is I've never been on birth control. I don't have any medical problems. I don't take any medication. The only medication I take is prenatals because the doctor told me to, and I've been on them since January 2021.
Yeah.
And, you know, by the way, they do make you constipated in the beginning. I just gotta let you know, okay? Side effect, drink a lot of water. However, I use the Clear Blue ovulation predictor kits. They are the most simple for me to understand. I do have a lot of friends who have used them too. There's so many out there, but it's almost like it's like a digital answer. So it makes it really easy and it takes out the guesswork for me and for you, honestly. So when I started doing them, you know, there's 3 little smiley faces that you look for. The first one is an empty smiley face, and that just means you have low fertility, like you're not ready to ovulate. The next step is a blinking smiley face, which means you have high, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, you're at you have high ovulation.
Okay, high ovulation.
Sure, you're high in the process of ovulating.
We're getting up there. It's like we're on a train climbing. And we're going up the hill, right? We're going up the hill.
Oh, look at down. It's very high up here. That's where we were at Blinky Smiley.
And then you want your smiley face to be solid. And the cool thing about it is when it turns solid, it stays solid for 24 hours.
Yeah.
So you're doing this every morning when you wake up, first thing in the morning, because that is the best time for you to get your result, both when you're doing an ovulation predictor kit or an OPK kit, or when you're taking a pregnancy test. You always want your first urine in the morning. So that it was unexpectedly like super emotional. You know, you talk about learning your body and peeing on a stick and figuring out if you're ovulating, which again, I had never thought about in my entire life. Like, why would I?
Yeah.
And so the first time I did it, it quote worked. And I was like, oh, okay, we have a solid face. And like, that means I ovulate, because some people don't ovulate on their own and they need to take medication for it. But lo and behold, it worked and I ovulate.
And that was the practice.
That was just the practice round, right? It's like you know, practicing for the big game or something. So, you know, as time goes on and you just kind of like overthink some things, and I'm sure maybe anyone who's gone through this process just overthinks a lot of it. Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong? Like, I want to make sure I'm going to ovulate when I actually have to. Like, it worked that one time, but what if it doesn't work the next time? And there's just like so many what if questions.
Right. Especially because the next time is actually the game time,
exactly.
Right? So the next time is, well, I'm actually going to have to call the doctor. And if it's a Saturday, we have to do this. And if it's a weekday, we have to do that. But yeah, you're waiting for that solid smiley to call them and say, okay, I'm coming in.
Mm-hmm. And so I think part of the challenge too between both of us is you hadn't had to do that yet, right? Like, why would you? And so we're just talking before about the emotional piece that goes along with this and how I am going through that piece and how you aren't yet, and what that looks like.
Yeah. And well, it was particularly hard that time because you didn't ovulate that time. So you literally were like, am I broken? Is this not going to work? And so you would come out crying that you weren't ovulating yet. And I couldn't understand. I mean, I was being sympathetic and like, it's okay. But I couldn't understand why you were getting so emotional because you weren't ovulating. It's, you know, it's not, in my brain, I was like, it's not a pregnancy test. Like, where's the emotion?
Right.
Yeah. So that was definitely a difficult piece for sure.
Mm-hmm. Turns out I'm not broken, right? And
your textbook perfect.
I have ovulated again since that first like practice round, even though there was a round in between that I didn't at all for whatever reason. That still, you know, I don't fully understand, and that's okay. But since then, there have been times that everything has been fine, and that I got a solid smiley face again. So, you know, we just move forward, and I think, you know, because we had all this practice and blood work and our donor and everything shipped to us, we were actually ready to go ahead and have our first attempt at making a baby, which is so crazy to say. You know, it's like when you're little and you like think, you know, I'm going to be this when I grow up, and I'm going to be a mom, and I'm going to have kids. And then when you're actually like,
do it. Yeah. Because, well, for me, I'm like, I'm the baby of 4.
Yeah.
So even though I'm 31 years old, I feel like I'm a baby still. So the thought of me being a mom, it was really hard for me to like envision. And I mean, no, not anymore because we're so invested in it. But at first, for sure, I was like, me? A mom? Hello? What? I'm so little. But I'm not. And very much ready for that. But just going through all of this and seeing how hard it is even to just like find your ovulation cycle and like learning that piece of it. Like, I don't know about you, but I was taught like you have sex with a boy when you're younger and you will get pregnant, or like in Mean Girls, you will get pregnant or you will get syphilis and you will die, like whatever they say. No, but it's like, I swear to you, I thought that if I sat on a toilet seat after a man, that I would potentially get pregnant.
Yes.
Like, oh, that's how easy I thought it was. And now you come into your adult life and you're like to your point, I've never been on birth control. I've never had sex with a man to clog my whatever he's even up there with the gunky stuff. Like there is no traffic jam up there. It is all clear paths. And it should be the easiest thing. So it's either your body's like, yo, what the hell is this stuff?
Right. That's probably what mine said.
I don't know. I just thought it didn't matter when you had sex with a boy. It didn't matter what that looked like. It was, you have sex with a boy, you're going to get pregnant.
Right.
And your life is going to be over.
Well, I think that's the Catholic school
That's
in
true.
both of us. Okay.
Okay, you're right.
I have literally gone to Catholic school since I was like 4 years old.
Yeah. Likewise.
All the way through college.
Well, yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
So yeah, in health class, they scare the crap out of you, and maybe rightfully so, right?
So you think
because it worked for both of us.
In public school, they actually get educated to like put a condom on a banana?
I have no idea.
And for us, it's like the Lord will send you to hell if you have sex before you're married. And by the time you're married, you'll understand. But here we are, married, trying to understand.
Well, here's the deal. I have never put a condom on a banana.
No.
Let me just let you know that.
That's right. No.
But, so that is potentially the difference.
Right.
So we'll have a conversation later on as to what high school or anywhere that we're going to send our kids based on their sex education.
Well, it was going to be a Catholic school. It's maybe not anymore.
No, but like I just said,
homeschool sex ed.
Absolutely not. I mean,
just the sex ed part.
We will make the decision when we have to. But like I said, it worked for us. Neither of us had babies when we were very young.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
However,
we're also lesbians.
However, here we are trying to work it out when we're over 30 years old.
Yeah.
So with that said,
blind leading the blind over here.
I know we've learned so much throughout this whole process.
So much.
And to be honest, I know both of us are really hopeful that us talking about this is going to provide some education and some insight into this entire overwhelming process. But honestly, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, we just scratched the surface.
Yeah.
And so, again, if we had a podcast like this to be able to come to really just like understand where to start and what it's going to look like, it would have been very helpful. So we hope that this is helpful for some people. And if you're not going through the process and you don't plan to go through the process or whatever, you can understand it from the people that you love around you, or
Absolutely.
just you love us. So you want to know what we're going through.
Absolutely.
And you can, even give us some advice at this point.
Anything, all the positive vibes.
Yeah.
I mean, but next time we're going to get into what that IUI process looked like for us, because there's so much more education and pieces to this puzzle that go into this to ensure success. So yeah,
buckle up.
It's going to be a
We'll give you some
ride.
other topics in between, but I think
we'll see
what the next one comes about. But this is the hot topic of our lives these days.
Absolutely.
So we'll see what the next one brings. But we're happy to be back. We missed you all so much. I missed just being next to you too. Like, you look so cute with these freaking ear things on, and they're called headphones. But
right back at you, Boyle.
All right. Well, I love you, dear.
I love you.
You explained all of that very well, and I know that to summarize even all of that in 35 minutes, and just seeing the emotional aspects that like you've gone through and we've gone through, it's just, it is crazy to reflect on it. And I admire your strength, and I love you to the end of the world.
You made me cry.
I'm sorry.
I don't want to cry anymore.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
too.
We get to the end of these episodes and you think about the things that we just talked about for a little while, and you just don't realize like the emotions that have gone through all this past year with this. It takes a big toll, but it makes our relationship stronger in the end as well.
Yeah.
So
thanks for giving us an outlet and an opportunity to share our story. So honestly, if anyone has questions too, feel free to reach out, because we're happy to help in any way that we can.
Cool.
Sending a lot of love.
Baby dust.
Baby dust.
Baby dust.
That's what they say.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.